Hello, hello. Okay, I think I'm good. I'm just gonna make sure all my stuff is set up here so I can see comments. And we will just see what happens while I get ready here. So I'm going to be doing some live readings today with the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. So for anybody just joining, I'm going to be doing that. If that made any sense at all. This is a really pretty deck, hey? Oh, I can't wait. I've played with it a little bit already. I played with it to do my video on how to play Queens of Fate, which is a tarot solitaire game. Say hi if you're tuning in. So I'll be doing some free readings, and how this is going to work as you're joining in is if you want to get added to the list, I'll be starting at about 5:30, so in about 5 minutes or so, I'll start to give some readings. And what I will do, sorry, I'm looking to the side because I've got all my stuff over here. What I will do is if you want a reading, I'll ask you to put just some asterisks, I'll type what that's going to look like, in all across like that, and then I will add you to the list for wanting a reading. And then when it's your turn, I will let you know, and then just tell me your question then. So if you're interested in a reading, put those asterisks in there, and then we will go from there. Say hi if you're joining me, though. It's so quiet. I'm not used to that in chat. Mind you, I'm also not used to going live on a Monday evening, so there's that. I'm going to pop this out so I can see it better. Perfect, perfect. Hello, Sherry Bug. I've got comments kind of over to the side on my computer and also on my phone. So hopefully between the two, and it looks like I've got Ruby Rose. Hi, Ruby. I'll add you to the list. So I'll be starting readings at about 5:30. I'm a little bit early. And Sherry Bug. Perfect. Awesome. I've been playing with this deck now since yesterday, and it's been pretty fun. I'm glad that it seems to be so far a pretty good reader for me, which is great. I wasn't sure if I was going to love it or not for actually reading, but it's been really, really clear so far. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. So I found I'm only here till for an hour. So I'll be reading from 5:30, and then I've got a hard stop at 6:30 for dinner time. So, oh good, puppies are still coming and going from my room, fine. If I get a puppy locked out, I'll have to go let them in. What did you wait? Oh, you waited too long for the Pagan Otherworlds? I can't talk, apparently. Also, apparently I can't see. Oh, my brightness on my tablet is low. That's probably why. Shayla, stop digging to China. My dog is like, I need to lay down right now, and I'm going to dig and dig. Shayla, lay down, please. Thank you. Oh, it's still available. I got mine actually in a metaphysical shop in Seattle, in person. I don't think I would have bought it otherwise because shipping was ridiculous. Hi, Shania, how do I say your name? I gotta stop leaning in. That's why I open the comments in other screens, and I still do it. If you want a reading and you're just joining us, remember to just pop in some asterisks all across the screen. Well, you don't have to go all across the screen, but like a bunch of them. Something a little bit like Shania. I don't know why I struggled with that. Why did I struggle with that? That should be easy. And I was like, Shania. Shania, that's perfect. And then I'll add you to the list. Sorry, I totally interrupted myself, but you got the gist. Yeah, so add the asterisks. I've kind of looked back at what I did on Saturday for my last live readings, and I found that I did somewhere around 8, I think, in about an hour, maybe a little bit more. So as always, I will get through the list as fast as I can. I've got 3 names on the list so far, so there's still some time to add. I'll start reading at 5:30 or thereabouts. Kimmy? Tell me if I didn't pronounce that right. I'll add you to the list. Yesenia. So Yesenia, what I'll do is when it's your turn, or Yesenia, yeah, Yesenia, when it's your turn, I'll add you to the list, but usually what you want to do is yeah, perfect. So what I'll do is I'll get your question when it's your actual turn. Otherwise, I'll totally lose track, and if I try to scroll back through chat to find the question, it's gonna be a mess. So I'll ask you when it's your time, and then if you're still here, then you can throw your question at me. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Oh, throwing cards. I want to give these a really good shuffle. So I was playing a tarot solitaire game with this deck called Queens of Fate. I put a video about that up on my channel. And So all of my major arcana cards and my minor arcana cards and my suits and my aces were all clumped up. So I gotta make sure they're good and shuffled. But yeah, this has been pretty fun to play with so far. So if you enjoy these sorts of live reading sessions, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell, because then you will get hopefully notified when I go live. When YouTube is working, it will tell you. Sometimes YouTube doesn't actually... Yeah, Sherrybeck, it's so much fun. Sometimes YouTube doesn't actually notify very well, but it's better than nothing. You definitely won't get a notification if you don't hit it, but you might if you do. So there's that. But I'm going to try and I'm thinking about doing these every Monday night. I don't want to commit like hardcore, but we'll see. We'll see. Or maybe I'll do them sometimes on Saturday mornings and sometimes on Monday evenings. I don't know. Perfect. And so I think I'm going to get started. So Ruby, you are up first. If you're still hanging out with me, go ahead and hit me with your question. And I will pull some cards. Yeah, I'm not going to stop leaning into the screen. I need to stop telling myself that I'm going to. I don't know why. I don't know why I think I'm going to stop. I'm just going to shuffle while I wait for Ruby's question. You're still in here, right, Ruby? And definitely tell me, you guys, if you can't hear me or anything like that. There's no way for me to tell without turning on my volume, and then there would be a horrible echo, and it would be bad. You've been considering cutting your hours. Oh, I think you hit enter too soon. I'm thinking cutting your hours at work, maybe? Okay. So you're considering cutting your hours back at work. So what's the question? Oops, I'll let you formulate that. Hi, Phantom. What we're doing is, if you'd like a reading, I can add you to the list. Just put some stars, some little asterisks on the screen. Oops, if I can type. And then I will add you to the list. So I'm only looking at those. Oh, come on now. I'm just waiting for the rest of... Oh, there we go. Will this go over well with your husband? I can't tell you how he's going to feel about it, but I can tell you sort of what the cards have to say about making that decision and just see what comes up. So if that's all right, that's sort of the direction that I'll take it from. I kind of am... I'm definitely in the... Okay, Phantom, I've got you on the list, and then I'll ask your question when we get up to your turn. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 people in front of you. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, Ruby. Okay, so what I will do is I will pull a couple of cards. We'll sort of see what comes up, and then we'll go from there, okay? Okay. Perfect. Alrighty. These cards keep wanting to slide for me. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles for me, especially when I'm reading on subjects related to work, these are moments, these are times of reevaluation. This is when we're sort of looking at where we're at with our current resources, with our finances, with our responsibilities, like our career and so forth. And we're sort of looking at, is this meeting our current needs? Are we on the right path? And are we getting what we need from it? So there's obviously been a reason that you're now reevaluating your situation, why you're now looking into it and trying to figure out if it's right or not for you. But this is also a reminder that your responsibilities aren't always just your work responsibilities. They're your home responsibilities. They're your relationship responsibilities. And oftentimes, I think this reevaluation relates to more than just your work. So I really think that there is a reason that you're looking to cut back the hours that maybe goes a little deeper than just what's happening at work. And I think that what I get from this, I've got you all added, Phantom, you're good. What I get from this is that essentially you need to look a little deeper, because I'm wondering how much of this, the reason that you're looking at all of this, has already been communicated to your husband. So that's the first thing that I would think about, is you've been doing a lot of ruminating and thinking about this in your own head, but how much of that have you actually been discussing and strategizing and sharing with your husband to create that situation where you can have that open conversation? Yeah, exactly. And then the next thing that I got here, interestingly, is the Five of Wands. Now, sometimes what happens with the Five of Wands is that this signifies things are kind of out of alignment. And a lot of times well, in this case, I'll say what comes up, what's kind of popping into my head about this. So one of the meanings for the Five of Wands is sort of competition for competition's sake. So sometimes people involved in the situation are a little bit competitive, whether they realize it or not. And it could be that what's happened is that in this desire to look capable or look strong, either you or your husband, sometimes the communication gets kind of lost. Like, we don't want to be the ones asking for help, or we don't want to be the ones saying we need more. And I think in relationships, this happens a lot, because what I find at least happens for me, and I'll just relate this personally for a moment, is sometimes we don't want to be the one burdening the other person. And so we fail to communicate when we need that extra help. And we don't really realize how much we need it until we reach a point where we really have to pull back reserves somewhere. And so I kind of feel like maybe there's been a bit of waiting too long for you to get to this point. Like, you're already at a point where you're like, something's got to give. But he doesn't necessarily know that yet, because of this other energy that's been going on, this sort of I got it under control sort of energy. So I think what needs to happen first is a conversation. You guys need to come to the table and you need to get honest about where you're at. And my wife likes to say this to me sometimes, but let him be a grown-up. I don't know how else to say it. It's not like the nicest way to say it, but sometimes I'm trying so hard to protect my loved ones from an unpleasant moment or a difficult conversation that I try to control it too much. So it might be that rather than making this decision and waiting to see how he reacts, maybe it's time to let him be a part of this process of reevaluating with you. That would be what I'm getting out of this for you. So I hope that that is helpful and makes sense. Let me know. I'd love your feedback down below. And don't forget to like if you liked the reading. That's always really helpful. You're watching me like a fairy. Yeah, tarot is crazy. For a long time, you guys, I read with the tarot and I was like trying to find a logical reason why and how it works. I don't know, man. It just works. It just works. So I'm glad that that made sense to you. Definitely have the conversation and see where it goes, okay? All right, so next up, I've got Sherry Bug. So Sherry Bug, I'm ready for your question whenever you are. And remember, guys, too, that this isn't the only way that I do readings. If you really like my style, I do video readings. I sell them on Etsy, and I always have that link down below as well. You kept drawing those same cards? Ruby, that's crazy. Well, now you know. Now you know my perspective on them anyways. Sometimes we get stuck in our heads when we're reading for ourselves, right? I actually recently booked my own reading with a professional, and I have to tell you that, like, I often told myself, well, I don't need to get a reading from somebody else because I know how to read the cards, right? But it's so helpful to get that other perspective. Oh, you're very welcome. Hi, Theus. That's how I say your name in my head, is Theus. Theus. Please tell me if that's wrong or if there's another name you like to be called, because it might take a few reminders before it sticks for me, because I have the worst memory ever. And Sherry Bug, if you're still here, I need your question because you are up, my love. Just what you need to know right now? Okay, fair enough. We'll see what comes up. Perfect. Oh, good, I said it right. Yay! I'm so pleased whenever I pronounce things correctly. All right. Sherry Bug, let's see what we got. I don't know what is my deal. If I shuffle on a flat table, they don't do this, but I've been shuffling on my lap and the cards are like flying in all directions. This Pagan Otherworlds deck is quite lovely, I have to say. All right. What does Sherry Bug need to know, please? What does Sherry Bug need to know? Have a little sip. Thanks for checking in, Phantom. Okay. All right, Sherry, so we have the Two of Coins. So there's some balancing happening in your life right now. Maybe some different responsibilities or some different things are pulling at you, maybe from a couple different directions at the moment. Could be interests, could be responsibilities, could be work, family, children, all that kind of stuff. A lot of times, I keep saying a lot of times, and it's never true. Every time I pull a card, I get something a little different. But the image that immediately popped into my head was like little children like tugging at skirts. Does that make sense? Like just that kind of instant vibe of things have been pulling or tugging at you a little bit lately. You've been maybe getting pulled around a bit. And yeah, sorry, my nose always gets itchy when I read especially, but that's the first thing I get out of this, is that you're being tugged and pulled. I want to see what the second card is and kind of look at them both together. So second card I have for you is more balancing, which is interesting because we have justice. So here again, we have balancing happening. Now the interesting thing here is though, is that when I see pentacles come up and I get this idea of juggling and it relates to sort of being pulled in multiple directions or being tugged on by the needs of other people, what I really feel from that in this particular context is that it's related to other people's neediness in a way. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but for example, like when I had that image of like children tugging at skirts, when I had that image, that to me feels like other people's needs are loud in your head or in your life right now, and they're kind of moving to the forefront, and you're having a difficult time pulling back and looking at your own needs. What's interesting about justice with this card, because justice is also about balancing, but justice as a concept is very much about, I'm going to use some really strange words. Justice is about mercenary balance, okay? So it's kind of, again, probably the wrong word, and I get weird words when I read sometimes, but justice is cool-headed. Justice doesn't care who's got the louder voice or who sounds the neediest or whatnot. Justice just cares about fairness. And fairness includes yourself, which means that this justice to me, the image I'm getting in my head is of a need for ferocity a little bit from you, a little bit of, no, hold on, I count in this situation too, and I also have needs. I'm getting a bit of a strong message about you being willing to say no to some people in your life right now, about you pulling back and saving some of these resources and this energy for yourself. And where it's needed to spread out among other people, almost a little bit, I want to say tough love, but that's not quite right. It's not about teaching other people lessons. It's more about you only have so much energy and resources to spend on the people around you and yourself included. So you have to really be logical and less emotional about how you're going to spend that energy. It's kind of like the whole secure your own gas mask before you try to secure other people's. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the really strong message here for me, for you, is that prioritize yourself a little bit more because you're getting lost in this tugging, and be willing to say no to people, and maybe be a little bit more, a little bit less biased towards other people's needs and a little more neutral in deciding who gets your attention. Okay, so that's what you needed right now, apparently. So it sounds like that resonated okay for you. Hello, Barefoot Taurus. Please, please, please remind me of your name. And what I'm asking people to do, just so I'm saying the same thing to everybody, is just to put some asterisks. Sorry, I'm just putting this on my computer over here. Put some of the, oh, geez, I can't type, y'all. Put some of those in the chat, and I will add you to the list. Raquel? Oh, that's such an amazing name. I'm sure I've heard that before, and like on your videos, and I just totally spaced it. Okay. Barefoot Taurus. Raquel. Okay, so it looks like Shania. I don't know why I keep wanting to call you Shania. I don't know what my problem is. You are up next, so if you have your question ready, or think about it for a second while I shuffle and get a little sip. It's so good to see you all in my chat. I love doing these live readings. It's so fun because I get really different images off all the different cards. Perfect. Shania, hit me with your question. Okay, you can think about it for a sec. I'll have a sip. We got some time. I'm here until 6:30, and then I've got to call hard stop because dinner time, and my family is sort of planning around me being able to do this live. So they're off at the grocery store right now, and then they'll be back cooking. Oh, good. So I've got, let's see, I've done 2. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left on the list. So we're doing okay for the amount of people. If you're still wanting a reading, I think I get through somewhere around 8 to 10. Can you have it in your head and you go off of it? No, I'd like you to ask a question, but you could ask it really subtly if you're concerned about privacy. So like, for example, you could say to me, what do I need to know right now? And we'll see what comes up, and it might address that specific thing that you've got in your head, and it might not. I totally understand about privacy, like this is the internet. So, or you could ask something really generic and have in mind the specifics of the situation in your head. That might work. But yeah, give me something to just sort of focus on while I shuffle for you. And just as a reminder, and I'm going to say it because I'm trying to get better about saying it because I haven't like at all in my videos, But I also do have readings up on my Etsy shop. If you enjoy my style, this is how I read when I'm doing video readings from my Etsy shop as well. So you can always purchase a reading from me. And that is nice to know because I can't always get through everybody on my list. Just depends on how busy it is. I'll give you another second here, Shania, for a question. So I can't do that, Shania. I'm sorry. Anything medical or legal, I can't really diagnose. I can't predict that sort of stuff. Just so you kind of understand my perspective about the tarot. Yeah, you got to take a test, honey. I'm sorry. So you understand my perspective on the tarot. It gives us insight into where our heads are at, like where our emotions are at, where we're at psychologically, where we're at psychospiritually. Sure, I'll give you whatever you need to know right now, and we'll just see what happens. All right? Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right. I totally get it, though. We always want to know those things, right? It's like, I want to just know. Can somebody just tell me, please? I get it. I hear you. Hi, Keith. Nice to have you. All right. Shania, let's see what the cards have to say for you today. All right. I need a spot to put them where they're not going to slide everywhere. It's not happening. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. This is like somebody who's pretty studious. So a lot of times, why do I keep saying a lot of times? Somebody like smack me. Well, don't actually smack me. That wouldn't be very nice. But some of my automatic language kind of cracks me up when I'm in my head a little bit. So the Page of Pentacles, this is the person who tends to easily see opportunity in situation and easily be able to see how to tangibly apply a lesson. So this might be an aspect of yourself, or this could be somebody in your life, somebody who is very grounded and conscious of responsibility in their lives, somebody who likes to make life happen, who isn't necessarily likely to just sit around and wait for like a sign that something's supposed to happen. They're going to be the person who's going to go out and just get it done. But also they tend to be full of ideas, people who like to percolate on things, try different things. So there's a little bit of steadfastness here, but also of industry. I don't know if that's really quite what I mean to say. And then we have another court card coming up for you as your second card. Now, here's an interesting mix. So we have the Queen of Wands. So this is somebody who I feel is very typically, I was going to say the word stubborn, so I'm just going to go with it. So in this case, I'm getting stubborn. I'm getting a little bit of strong personality here. Somebody who has no problem typically speaking their mind. Somebody like this could fairly easily overpower somebody like this, personality-wise. There could be a little bit of a lack of balance. This person could end up feeling easily overwhelmed by this person. So if you've got a relationship happening in your life where you can see yourself as either one of these people, and you can recognize the other person in your life, whether it's this person or whether you're this person and they're this person, or the other way around, what I'm seeing here is a relationship. Like these two figures are looking towards themselves or towards each other a bit. Their body language is angled towards each other. So I see relationship here, and I see this idea that we've got somebody with a bit more strength to their personality. I know I'm being repetitive, but I would really love to hear any of your feedback as some of this stuff pops out, because sometimes when I see things, I'm going to draw a third card and see what comes up. Yeah, okay. So we have the Nine of Wands. So this is usually, so here's what I'm getting. Yeah, okay, good. So here's what I'm getting here. The Nine of Wands tells me that these two people have kind of been through the ringer a bit lately. Maybe there's been some arguing or some tension or just some like not quite lining up, like with goals maybe, or really important discussions. And yeah, absolutely, Sonia, just put some stars across the screen, some little asterisks, and I'll add you to the list in a moment. So yeah, I really feel like this Nine of Wands is telling me that you guys are kind of both a little bit battle weary in a way. You've both kind of been through the ringer, and it might not be with each other. You might be battle weary with other people in your life. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you might be battle weary with other people in your life or with each other. And so there's an opportunity here for you both to kind of just stand your ground a little bit for yourselves, to kind of take a deep breath, realize that this has been going on, that there's been this like kind of mental emotional exhaustion happening, and maybe take a little bit of time to breathe and have some space, so that if you're both aware that this has been going on, then when you come back to talk to each other, again in a deeper way, you'll have a little bit more of that internalized compassion for yourselves and for each other, and that can completely change the tone of the discussion. So if there's been anything that's been applying pressure to the relationship at all, then if you can step back from that, give it some time. Don't try to solve everything right this second. Instead, take that step back, let there be a little bit of space and a little bit of breathing room. Don't ignore each other, but definitely try to keep things a little bit less intense if you can for a bit of time, so you have some recovery time, and then come at things with sort of fresh eyes. So hopefully that helps. Keith, that would be great if you want to help. I can tell you where we're at with the list so far. So hopefully that makes sense. Shania, welcome to anybody who's just joining. If you want a reading, you just put in some stars across the screen. I will get to who I can before 6:30, and we'll go from there. So Keith, here's what we've got. I just finished Shania. Up next we have Kimmy, Kymie, and then I can't read my own writing. Hold on. Kimmy, and then Sesame? I might have to scroll up a bit. Sherry Bug. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Shania. Oh! It starts with a Y. Yosemite, and then Phantom, and then Raquel, Barefoot Taurus. Hello. There's ignoring, but you'll try your best. Shania, I hear that. I know that when that happens, that's tough. It's hard to force things, right? Like, I mean, we want to sometimes, but we can't. So it's tough. Yesenia. I literally could not read my own writing. Yesenia. So you're after Kimmy. Is Kimmy still here? If so, can I have your question? Try to put it in all caps if you can. I just realized as chat gets busier, it's way easier to see. Let's see who I've missed here. So Spiritual Goddess of Enlightenment gets added on after, I believe, Raquel, unless I've missed somebody. Oh, Sonia, did I get you? No. So Sonia first, then Spiritual Goddess of Enlightenment. And then after that, there was Ciervo. Hello. You're on my list, Phantom, not to worry. You're actually next after Kimmy. So if Kimmy gives me her question. Oh, there she is. Perfect. Does my brother care about what his girlfriend did to me? Okay, so just so you guys kind of know where I come at from perspective, I can't tell you how other people feel. What I can do is sort of see what's around you with regard to that situation. Does that make sense? These really are just pieces of paper, and I know that there's a little bit more to it than that, but I can read for the person I'm reading for, if that makes sense. And sometimes I can read, kind of what the energy is like about you. Yeah, you're right after Kimmy, Phantom, so you're next. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So that's what I will read. I will just kind of focus on this situation and see what comes up energetically around you, and we'll go from there. So you might hear some noises in the background. My family is getting dinner ready. I will have to quit here right at 6:30, so I'll get to who I can by then, and we'll go from there. If you're just joining me, remember to subscribe. I'm going to try to do these pretty regularly, maybe once or twice a week. No worries, Phantom. Think about your question because you will be up next. Okay. Perfect. All right, Kimmy, let's see what comes up. Remember, if you liked your reading, please thumbs up the video. Or just if you like me. That's cool, too. All right. So, Kimmy, first card I drew for you, sorry to bring it so close right away, is Strength, is the Strength card. And often the Strength card is about what's happening from your perspective. It's talking about your inner reserves. Strength, though, in this context is not so much about brute strength, forcing a situation, bringing things to a head in a big... oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's Kimmy, and then Yesenia, and then Phantom. Thank you for the reminder. I do have it written down correctly. Sorry about that. So Strength for me in this context is about a gentle kind of strength. So this is more about confidence and inner reserves and holding your ground in a powerful way, but not necessarily in a loud way. So this tells me that whatever's happened or is happening for you right now, what's more important than everybody else around you is how you're choosing to move ahead, how you're choosing to take the next step or put one foot in front of the other. So what's really important for you right now is your approach to this situation. So what I'm getting here with the bear and with this woman here is that, and the other thing that comes up, so my brain is everywhere. The other thing that comes up here is that a lot of times strength is also talking about overcoming our own inner demon or our own inner shadows, the parts of ourselves that we're sort of battling with sometimes. So it's not always an external situation. Sometimes we're having to draw on these internal reserves in order to balance out our own difficult stuff that's bubbling up for us. So it's important maybe to check in with yourself about this situation and sort of what's been swirling around you. Where is there clarity about what's happened? Where is there maybe a lack of bias? And then where is there a combination of what's happened to you combined with past experiences? Because I think it would do you some good to untangle some of this on your own, to maybe disentangle this specific situation with similar things that have happened in the past or similar feelings you've experienced in the past, and really look at it on its own for its own merits in order to decide what you need to do next, because that's of course the most important thing, right, is your decisions about how you move forward. And the next card that popped out for me for you is the Nine of Cups. Now, interestingly, the Nine of Cups is often a really, really positive card. So this is a card about contentment, about peace. And I think there's something here about, for you, I'm feeling like there's something here about getting away. Almost like you need like a vacation, like not a physical like travel sort of vacation. But let's say, so you mentioned that something was done to you by somebody else. So that particular person and the people associated with that person, you need like a breather from those people. Like you need a bit of a respite from that crap, that drama, like that whatever. Like you definitely need some space. I hope that's sort of resonating. I really feel like what this is telling me is that other people's reactions right now are the least of your concerns. Your first concern is taking care of yourself and figuring out how this is going to impact you on a deeper level, or how this is impacting you all by itself, not tangled up with all that other stuff. And then this is telling me that you need some distance and some space. So I think this is where your priority needs to go right now, is getting some space. And I think that means waiting to figure out how everybody else feels and sorting out yourself, if that makes sense. So you are your first priority right now. I hope that helps you out a little bit. So thank you so much, Keith. I really appreciate it. These do get a little crazy. Hopefully that makes sense. Definitely let me know if you have if that's clear, if it's unclear. Perfect. So next up we have Yesenia, and then we have Phantom after that. So if you've got your question, Yesenia, if you guys can, when you do your questions, either tag me at Supportive Tarot or put it in all caps. Hello, Butterfly. Hello, Family Wizard. Hello, Brianne. Oh, perfect. So, Brianne, you're after Sierra, unless I've missed anyone. Does that match what you've got, Keith? Hopefully. That is actually my dog, but she's kind of like a cat. She's like a cat dog. We joke about it all the time. She kind of does a doggy version of purring when you pet her. Okay, let's see what's going on around you and your relationship with David, Yesenia. Thank you. Her name is Shayla. It's all good. She's, like I said, she's a cat dog. I'm just saying. And she's just a big black fluff ball back there. You would have no way to know. You would have no way. She'd have to move first. Over time, if you continue to come to watch me sort of read, you guys will so get a feel for my style. It's very much insight into the current moment, more so than predictive sort of stuff. I do have a reading. I sell it, well, I will be selling in my shop. I haven't added it yet, called the Trajectory Reading, which is all about sort of the path you're headed down versus the path you want to be headed down, and sort of how to merge the two. Yes, Butterfly, I'm giving some free readings with the Pagan Otherworlds right now. Yeah. So let's see what's going on with you and David. Let's see what sort of energy surrounds that relationship. And they're all relationships, even when we're not in a romantic relationship with somebody. It's like our connection between two people is almost like its own entity, our connection with another person. Okay, let's see what comes up. So as a reminder, guys, I'm only here till 6:30, and then I got to call hard stop. So I'll get where I can in that time, and we'll just see how it goes. All right. All right. First card up is the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've got about 5 left right now, butterfly. So often this is about feeling stuck, feeling trapped. And oftentimes that feeling of trapped is happening in our own head and as a result of our own sort of fears and anxieties. So in the Eight of Swords, we see somebody who really feels good and truly stuck. But in the Nine, we're stuck because of fear. We're prevented from moving forward because of fear. Because of fear of the unknown, or because of fear of, excuse me, fear of the imagined. So sometimes I want to say this right. Sometimes what I'm seeing here is our own worst case scenario thinking, our fatalistic kind of thinking. Oh, this could never work out. It'll never be good. It'll this or that. It's self-defeating type of behavior. And the Nine of Swords tells me that there's some of that going on for one or both of you, where there's a little bit of this self-sabotage. That's the word I was digging for in my head. A little bit of self-sabotaging kind of stuff going on. This is not a really good place to be at when you're wanting to heal any kind of relationship, work, personal, romantic, anything. You want to be in a place where you're clear-headed, and this is an anxious place. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. And then we get again the Justice card, which is really interesting, and that tells me that for whatever reason, the reason that there's been distance between the two of you, the reason that there's a relationship dissonance there, is because of a lack of healthy functioning in the relationship. So something became kind of broken and wasn't working. There's a reason why you're not together now. And this card really just tells me that that needs to be addressed before anything can happen anyway. So here's what I see right now is there's sort of 2 layers to be worked through. The first layer is to get away from this self-sabotagey behavior. If it's yours, you need to be the one to knock it off. And if it's his, all you can do is hope that he does the same. But you can only really keep your side of the street clean, right? You can only be in charge for what's in front of you, in charge of what's in front of you. And the Justice card reminds us that it doesn't really matter how much work you do if the other person doesn't do the same amount of work. And often when I get these sorts of questions, I find that the reason that things fell apart is never fully one-sided. And so unless both sides get taken care of, we can't really make headway. But if you can handle or take care of sort of what's happening on your side of things, then suddenly you can make some headway in your own life, whether or not you make headway with this particular person. So I hope that makes sense. It's basically saying deal with the anxieties and the fears that create those self-sabotaging behaviors, and then clean up your side of the street as far as any dysfunctional relating is going, and let the rest be what it's going to be. Either he's going to do similar work for himself or he's not. That's not something that you can control, and it's okay to let go of that control of that as well. Hopefully that's clear for you. Yay, yay, yay. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I know I missed a lot of chat. I think I saw a couple comments come by. Hello, Tamara. Hello, Christy. Hopefully I haven't missed saying hellos to anybody. Hello, Starlight Spell Singer. If you're new and to this chat right now, what I ask you to do is, if you want to be added to the list for readings, just put a line of asterisks, the little stars, from your keyboard to shift, whatever that is, shift 8. And I will add you to the list. Keith is kind of helping me keep eyeballs on the situation. And then I'm just going through the list. You are up next, Phantom, if you want to be thinking about your question and share it with me while I give it a quick shuffle. I don't know if anybody else got added. My last one here right now is Brienne. Okay, I'll add Tamara and Starlight. Tamara and Starlight. Okay, what's in front of you, Phantom? I can do that. Hi, Elizabeth. As a reminder, you guys, I can only get through what I can get through until 6:30, which is my hard stop time. But remember, I also do sell readings in my Etsy shop. I have some pretty inexpensive stuff in there, as well as some deeper readings as well, and those are video readings. So I will give you a link. You can watch a private video. They're very flowy, even when I use spreads. So you'll get lots of this sort of stuff in that. I'll do my best. We shall see. I don't think I saw any stars for you, Elizabeth. Are you on the list already? If you aren't, then please throw some asterisks up. We'll get you added. But I think I'm probably pretty full right now between now and 6:30. We'll see how it goes. It's always good to be on the list just in case I get moving pretty quickly. All right, Phantom, let's see what comes up here. One shuffle and then we'll get going. King of Pentacles for you, Phantom. Interesting. So this is somebody who typically is in a pretty solid place. I like to see the King of Pentacles as that sort of entity in our lives who is fairly secure from a personality standpoint. Somebody who typically is confident but not like swaggery. Just somebody who's like, yeah, okay, things are fine and I don't need to sweat it. This doesn't necessarily mean that this person is well off financially, but a lot of times what happens is that this person is not too concerned. Like, for example, my wife Peggy is not well off financially, but she's got this personality and she just trusts that things will be okay, that the universe will always make sure she gets what she needs. That's the kind of energy I get off of this. Personality-wise, just somebody who doesn't typically sweat stuff. And if this may be you or this may be somebody close to you, but my initial vibe is that this is more about you. The Nine of Cups was the other card that came up for you. And this just came up. That's so funny for somebody else. But in your case, the Nine of Cups tells me that things are actually going pretty smoothly for you. I don't see a lot of major bumps in the road right now. You're in a pretty solid place. And that solid place could be because of your comfort and confidence. You're sort of not sweating the small stuff is what just popped into my head. Like not letting the little things stress you out. And I don't know if that's something that you normally do or you've just been doing lately or you're just starting to do, but whatever it is, like keep doing that because it's good for you. And I have a feeling that things are going to flow pretty easily. There's another saying that just totally popped into my head and it's super inappropriate, but some people in life, you know, you meet them and it's almost like they've got like a horseshoe stuck up their butt. Like things just always seem to just work out. And this is kind of the phase I see you either in right now or just moving into. Is a little bit like there's nothing to sweat. It's all good. It's all good. I hope that that resonates for you somewhat. I know it's not like a mind-blowing kind of thing, but it's a little bit affirming. And it just sort of is saying you're kind of in a good place. Like don't fix it if it's not broken. Is kind of that kind of thing is what I'm getting. So I'm very much talking with my hands. But let me know, Phantom, if that made sense for you. Hopefully you get something good out of that. It's positive. I like it when the cards give us a little positive pat on the head and not necessarily a, hi, Sadna. Hello, Molly. Who else have I missed coming in? Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for all your help, Keith. I got Raquel coming up next. Barefoot Taurus. If your question is ready, hit me with it, babe. Is anybody after Starlight besides Elizabeth, Keith? I'll add Elizabeth on here. We'll see how we do. I have a feeling I'm going to probably run out of time. Considering an investment that would ultimately allow me to work from home, is this the right time to move forward? Beautifully worded question. Thank you. Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm getting lots of great stuff off of this deck, which I wasn't sure that I would because it's not very scenic in the pips. They're fairly sparse. We'll see what comes up. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe, hit the little bell, and you'll get notified when I go live, which I'm going to be trying to do at least once a week for readings. Maybe sometimes a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. Oh, my nose. You'll also get used to me rubbing my nose on the channel all the time because that's what I do. My nose gets itchy. It's a thing. All right. Let's see, Raquel. Ten of Swords. And what's funny is that in other decks, we might immediately have this visceral reaction to this card, Raquel, where we're like, no, man, that's a big fat freaking no. But actually, the first thing I thought of when I pulled this is, well, clearly what's happening now is coming to a close. Clearly, you're at the end of a cycle, and it's time to begin something new. That's the first thing that popped into my head when I pulled this card, which sort of makes sense, particularly if you've been spending a lot of time building or working within a field or a career. Gosh darn my nose. And So if you've been, let's say you've been in a particular job for 5 or 6 years or something like that. I'm just literally throwing random stuff out there. It's not, I'm not saying that's what it is. You're welcome, Phantom. Uh, so basically, let's say you've been in a job for a specific period of time. This card tells me clearly that that time there is done. Yeah, it's a very final feeling card to me. It's very much like done. It's done. And whether you do the new thing or not, the time at the current thing is definitely at a close. And it is time for something new. You get to kind of decide what that new thing is, plus we still have another card to pull. But this to me is a very clear message about where you're at right now. And that right now it's time to put it to bed. Like it's time. It's definitely time. And then the next card comes up is the Four of Pence. And I love the Four of Pence in this deck because it's such a neutral card. Our resources are sort of neatly lined up. This is actually a pretty stable place financially to be moving ahead in a new direction. Now, fours aren't like the ultimate of stability, obviously. There's quite a bit of risk still at this stage in our development. There's still a period of time where you have there's still a bit of risk here. We're in the first half of the Minor Arcana. There's still more growing to be done. But this might also be the perfect time then to make a risk if you're okay with it. And what I mean by that is there's calculated risks. I'll give you an example because this totally just popped in my head. I took a calculated risk a bit of time ago to open a business, a brick and mortar business, with money that I could consider found money. Money I wasn't planning on having, that I hadn't set aside for anything specific. And I ended up going beyond that money because that's what happens when you start a business. But looking back on that experience today, I can tell you that it was the perfect time to make one of these calculated kind of risks. And that's kind of what I feel here, is that you've got enough stability that you could get away with making a calculated risk. But I do think it's important to not go too overboard. Don't go in too overconfident. Maybe don't. I made a bunch of mistakes in the beginning because I had that sort of feeling of that little bit of small stability. I overspent in areas starting up the business that I could have done things a little more carefully, a little more frugally. That's what I'm getting from this. So definitely move ahead. Oh, I'm so glad, Phantom. Sorry, I'm seeing comments too, but definitely move ahead with your idea, but rein it in a little bit. I hope that helps. So keep it kind of conservative, but exciting and new. Does that make sense? I know I babbled a little bit there at the end, but to me, it's super clear. So if it's not clear to you, let me know, and I will definitely word myself better. But strong, clear message from my end. Perfect. Oh, I had a spam call coming through on my phone. That was annoying. I thought I had my ringer turned off. All right. So next up is Sonia, I believe. Please double check me, Keith, if you would like. Hi, Brienne. We can add you to the list, but you're on the list already, but you're a few people down, so it's not quite your turn just yet. So I've got Sonia next. If you can pop your question in all caps. Yeah, that was Shayla. She just woke up and left because she heard food. My family is preparing dinner, which is why I have to stop right at 6:30 because they're timing food. Spiritual Goddess, you're actually up right next after Sonia, so I don't think it'll be any problem at all getting to your reading. So if you want to stick around a few more minutes, or just pop back in about 3 or 4 minutes or so. Sonia, how does he feel for not approaching me? So I can tell you the energy surrounding you. I can't tell you the energy surrounding somebody else because they're not the one in here asking me the question. So what I can do is give you an idea of sort of the energies around you relating to a person, maybe. So I'll go at it from that angle. How's that sound? Good night, butterfly. Oh, thank you. All good, Sierra. Just hold on to it and hit me with it when it's your turn. It's all good. Sonia Ciervo, then Spiritual. I've got Sonia Spiritual Goddess, then Ciervo. Keith, do you mind scrolling up when you get a second? Just double check that for me. Because I had Spiritual Goddess before Ciervo on my list. I just want to make sure I get it right. So, Sonia, I'm going to hit it perfect. Okay, so we're going to give it a good shuffle and we'll see what comes up for you. Two of Wands. So imagine that you were standing on a mountaintop, just looking out at a vast landscape. You are in a point in your life right now where there is so much possibility and so much opportunity and such a wide variety of experiences that you haven't yet had. that it's almost as if you're limiting yourself already. Perhaps what this card is telling me about you right now is that you may think there's only one good outcome for yourself right now, and there are so many. I got such a powerful oomph from this card when I pulled it. Like, there is so much you could be putting your energy into right now. And I think the rest of that question that sort of just popped into my head is that he's not it. He's not necessarily worthy of as much attention as you have been giving him in your head. As much of your mental real estate, if that makes any sense. Definitely, there is way more better cool stuff for you to be putting your energy into. The next card that comes up is the King of Cups. I just want to make sure I was reading that right because it's backwards for me. This is somebody who is aware of their emotions. There's also an emotional maturity to this card that I think you have, and I don't get the feeling that he does. So here's what I'm seeing. You should be focused on what's going to move you forward in your life, and I don't think that's him based on this quick pull. Yeah. I would say you would be much better served to go back to this perspective from the mountaintop and consider all the things in front of you and let yourself have that free roaming space. Like, this is literally like you know the Dixie Chicks song, like Wide Open Spaces? Totally just popped into my head. Like, that's kind of what I'm feeling. Like, you need elbow room right now. You need to be around people that are on a similar wavelength as you, and I don't think that's him. So, you love Dixie Chicks? Okay, that's awesome. So you know where I'm going with that. This is your Wide Open Spaces card, my love. So yeah, definitely, that to me is super clear. Hopefully that was helpful for you. That's awesome. Yes, spiritual first. Okay, perfect. Thanks for double checking, Keith. All right, so Spiritual Goddess, you are up next, and then it is Ciervo. Hopefully that helps you, Sonia. You are so welcome. Remember to thumbs up the video and subscribe so you're around and you get notified and all that stuff. Oh, actually, subscribing I don't think notifies you, but the bell is supposed to notify you. If you're on my list and I don't get to you, I'm sorry. I will get through who I can between now and 6:30. And we will go from there. Yeah, thanks for correcting me on that, Sadna. Sadna. I think I've been saying that right. All right, Spiritual Goddess, let's see what we got for you. That sounds sticky. Let's see if we can get you a little unstuck. In case you're wondering why I'm looking over to the side, it's so I can stare at the question on my computer because I can't really, the comments move on my tablet too fast. Okay. Sadhana. I think I said it right in the beginning and then screwed it up after. That's what I think happened. All right, Spiritual Goddess. Four of Swords. Okay, so the bad news is you've still got a bit of time of, I see, gathering resources, gathering energy before the action phase is going to happen for you. So yeah, you said you're looking for a full-time job first. That's probably part of it. The Four of Swords is that sort of rest before you go out to battle. So there's a period right now where you can really draw in your resources and you're tired. I'm sorry, love. Yeah, so there's this period of time where so you need to have that time to conserve your energy, conserve your resources. I will say that as much as you can, and I know this is tricky, as much as you can conserve your mental, emotional energy for yourself. That's hard when you've got stuff swirling around you that is not of your making. The best I can say is to withdraw those resources from others where you can. Where it might be helpful is to lean on the support of people outside of that situation. So this might be friends, this might be people who really know just what it's like and you can lean into. I know, I've been in that situation. I hear you. Get the breaks where you can. It might mean having a girls' night out. It might mean, I don't know, calling that one friend who you know gets it. Not all your friends will get it. I've been there too. Not all your friends will get it, but if you've got a friend that does get it, you only get a break at work. Yeah. If you have an opportunity to either maximize this break, so here's an idea. This is this very simple thing you can do that may sound counterintuitive, but go media free. Like, use your break at work to do something that involves not consuming other people's drama by mistake, or by accident is what I meant to say. So for example, maybe take a social media break. Use your break at work to read. If you have a private space you can meditate in. I know that sounds super hokey, but like, you need to get that bit of juice for yourself anywhere you can get it. If you can take a walk around the building, if you can, anything you can do that does not involve looking at a screen or consuming social media or TV or anything like that, videos. I know that might mean a bit of a sacrifice if that's where you get your sort of lighthearted time, but sometimes you're on a social media break. Perfect. So you kind of know what I mean. Anything you can do to use those little bursts of energy for yourself, keep doing that, or do more of it where you can. But it's time to pull everything in that you can so that you have those resources for yourself. So the other card we got for you was the Tower. Now don't panic, because this can be really, really good news. The thing is, you're already in a tower that's crumbling all around you, right? What you need is for this to finish freaking crumbling so you can get out and start something fresh. So I don't think this is telling you that something worse is coming down the pike. I think this is saying you're in that situation now. And the message in the Tower that's really beautiful is that once you're finally free of that mess, you're going to be able to rebuild, lay that groundwork, start with a fresh perspective. It is going to happen. It's just hard to see through the muck right now. It's hard to see through the smoke and the debris and all the stuff that's around you. But just know that you're going to conserve your resources, build those up, get your financial situation sorted out. Yeah. And like you said, seek out that mental health support anywhere you can get it. There are free texting crisis lines. There are so many resources. I've got an app that keeps crashing in the background. I don't know why. So lean on the professionals for sure for support. And there's lots of free support out there too. So definitely keep yourself supported. I'm going to just grab one more. And girl, Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, I'm covering up the titles. The Queen of Pentacles here, this message is about knowing you have everything you need to make progress forward. You have the resources energetically and emotionally and mentally to handle what's coming your way, as long as you lean into the supports that are around you. As long as you're not too proud to do that when you need, you're going to be good. Yeah, you're going to be good. You just need to stay in your strength, stand in your power, and part of standing in your power is like hollering at your friends and being like, I need somebody to come like pick me up right now and take me for like a Coke, like a glass of Coke. I mean, I just want to be super clear. But sometimes you just need somebody to like give you that rest, that break. So yeah, see it through. You know what though? You're welcome. You're welcome. You got this. You've got this. Lean on the supports. And it might even be like chatting with friends on the internet. Just do that in addition to taking that time to pull in your own inner reserves. Okay? Okay. I think I had Sierra go next, Keith. Bye, Tamara. Sorry. Have a good rest of your day. I know it's late for some of you, time zone wise, right? It's Pacific time here. Hi, Danny. If your question is ready, oh, there it is. Let's just see what's coming up with you. Will you be leaving your country next year or soon? My cards just did, sorry for squealing. My cards just did a weird thing. You guys are so supportive in here. I love it. All right. Hi, Jezebel. I didn't see you pop in. All right. Girl. I love this card on a travel question. This just makes my whole day. I feel like this is a definite yes. If we're just looking for a straight yes or no, if this was the only card I pulled, it'd be a straight up yes. Like, absolutely. You are up for some adventures. Woo! And look, oh my god, I didn't even look when I drew it. I just put it up to the screen. Usually I look at it first. Look at that sun. Oh, you are in such an amazing place right now. Like, look at that. You have travel. Is this a move or was it travel? I think you said, you didn't say, but I get some adventure for sure. Some adventure for sure is coming your way, and some really uplifting adventure. I want to pull one more because that was fun. And we have the Six of Cups. So possibly even some reconnecting, either with yourself, a part of yourself you've maybe sort of been neglecting for a while, or re-neglecting with an old friend or some family. Like, this is such a cool, positive reading. Oh, we all needed that. That was like a good palate cleanser. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know what else to say. Yes. The answer is yes. Definite yes. I love the tarot. It's so fantastic sometimes. Right, Danny? I know. Could we get a louder yes from the universe, please? I'm just kidding. That was pretty loud, yes. I'll take it. Sorry that was really fast, but it was also really direct. I swear I'm not shortchanging you. It was just super blunt. All right, so up next we have Brienne. If you're in the room, hit me with your question. All caps if you can. It just makes it easier for my old eyeballs to see it from a distance. You said OMG, Sierra. Was there something exciting in there for you that you didn't expect? I always love it when there's really cool connections that pop out of these. I got 5 minutes, so Brienne, hit me. Hit me with your question. Thank you again so much for your help, Keith. I really appreciate it. It's kind of hard to keep track sometimes as things start moving quicker, and I start doing the readings. Once I'm starting to read, it goes so fast. You can't LMAO. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Brienne, are you still in here? I don't know, man. Oh, there we are. Brienne, is the new year good for creative business? Oh, beautiful question. Let's see. Let's see what's coming up for you. I've been keeping a moonstone on this deck during this reading, and it's been kind of giving me some extra juice. You hear my pupples in the background? I say pupples, but Shayla. She's freaking out. Probably because Peggy's asking her if she wants to go outside or have dinner or something that gets her really excited. Give me 1 second. She's probably bribing her now. I'm probably being too quiet. I'm sorry. Okay, so King of Wands. I'm so sorry. So this is somebody right on top of their creativity. This is like the master of creativity. This is somebody who has got it all in their head. They're at one with sort of their personal passions. They're at one with their inspiration, their muse. This is somebody who's tapping into their creative potential on the regular. So that's a resounding yes to the question of, is the next year going to be good for creative pursuits? For sure, this is somebody who's like all in their creative world, man. All in it. And the Seven of Cups in this context is very much the dreamer card. This is the person who just, you dream it and then you do it. And these two cards combined, it's like dream it, do it, dream it, do it. If you've got an idea, explore it. This is definitely going to be your year to try different things and be aware that some of them are going to be amazing and some of them are going to fall flat, and that's totally fine. The King of Wands doesn't care because he's got it all under control, right? We're definitely going to be moving ahead. Then 24? What's 24? I don't know what that means. Not doing anything about it. Well, sorry, I was being distracted for a second. But Brienne, yes, if it's in your head and you're not doing anything about it, this tells you get it out of your head and get it done. Like, start playing. This is the time to, like, if you're a painter, to just start splashing paint on the canvas and see what happens, right? If you're a writer, this is the time to just start writing, and don't worry about whether it's good. Be aware that some stuff is going to resonate and click and be amazing, and some stuff isn't. That's the nature of creative progress, is that we try stuff. We throw darts at the wall and we just see what sticks. That's what's all about for your year coming up. It's going to be all about throwing darts at the wall and seeing what sticks. This is your, like, ooh, better than darts, wet noodles. Like, you know, spaghetti noodles, you pull them out of the pot and you like toss them against the wall, and some of them stick and they just stay there, and some of them kind of slowly peel and fall down. Yeah. Goofy analogy, but this is the year to be messy and play and adventurous and try new things, for sure. For sure. Oh, that's what you were saying, Keith. Okay, guys, I think that's going to have to be a wrap. It is 6:29, so that is it for today. I know that we had a lot more people on the list here at the end. I got through a few more than the last time I did one of these, but it all just depends on the question and how much time it takes to do each one. Aw, Yvette, I'm sorry. Remember that if you want to have a kind of a bit of a heads up of when I'm doing these, make sure that you are in the Supportive Tarot Facebook group. There's a link down below in the description box, because I usually post a quick post there to give everybody in the group a little heads up if I'm planning on doing one of these free reading lives. So make sure you are in there. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click the bell. And if you like my reading style, I sell readings on Etsy. I'm trying to get better about actually telling people that I sell readings on Etsy. I do have a few listings up right now, and I have anything from like a custom reading with any amount of cards on up. So, Door Club, yes, exactly. So definitely check out my Etsy shop. That link is also down below. And I hope you all have an amazing night. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your help, Keith. And everybody have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.